Hello, it's Moira here, and in this video tutorial we're going to look at how I sew up the crown of a beanie. You want the sewn part of your crown to look even, so this is what this tutorial is going to demonstrate, how to get those even gathers in your crown. My hat that I'm going to be gathering the crown up on is one of my Ranger designs, and you can see it's got quite a large opening still. There's 56 stitches here. I've already fastened off the yarn from my last round, leaving a long tail, and I've secured it with a couple of stitches. I'm going to turn my hat inside out, as I actually will be working on the inside of the hat. The stitches that I'm wanting to use are these top stitches here. They actually are the back loop of our previous round, but it's easier to work from the inside out. Thread a darning needle so that we're now ready to whip stitch all our loops together. The stitch you'll be working into is the stitch immediately to the left of your yarn, and it's going to be the top loop of that stitch you're going to be working into. We're going to insert our needle from the back of the stitch to the front of the stitch through the loop and pull our yarn straight through. So always from the back of the loop or the back of the stitch through to the front and keep pulling your yarn through. And we're going to repeat this on every stitch. You can see when I pull there, it does start to gather up slightly. I'm going to repeat this overhand stitch through all the stitches around the top of my beanie hat. If it looks as though you're going to run out of yarn, just pull on the tail to gather some of the stitches up. And when you get back to the beginning, just go through that first stitch again. So we can now pull on the yarn to start closing our crown up. You've got to be gentle when you're pulling on your yarn though, because the last thing you want to do is break your yarn. So being very gentle, pulling on the yarn and arranging the gathers nice and even around the top of the crown. Once you've gathered all the stitches together, there will still be a little hole left in the crown. This hole will then be sewed with a few overhand stitches. Before we do that though, however, we are just going to secure the gathers so that they don't unravel, and we're going to do that with just a couple of stitches. So put a couple of stitches in to secure your yarn so that the gathers don't unravel, and now we're ready to actually just do a few overhand stitches to actually close that little hole that's been left up. We're working from our right to our left, and we're just using small overhand stitches through both edges of the hole that there is still left. And just keep using these small overhand stitches until you've actually completely closed that hole up. Before I finish off the ends by weaving them in, I'm just going to check that I'm happy with the gathers. Yes, I am, so I'm ready to finish the ends by weaving them in. And there we have it, a nicely gathered top to our beanie. If you found this video tutorial useful, please do subscribe to daisyknots channel. Thank you.